Hello and welcome to Herein Lies the Peace of God in the Awakening Together Sanctuary. The Awakening Together Sanctuary is an assembly of equals joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self. Within an appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols, we seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. The host of Herein Lies the Peace of God is Reverend Jacquelyn and Eckert, the President and Minister of Awakening Together. Our co-host is your favorite anarchist preacher, Reverend Glen Ganaway, integral scholar. The Course in Miracles says this about discerning one truth. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God.
Sing glory, glory, hallelujah. How wonderful thy holy name. Now I can see with God's own vision, and I see peace instead of pain. Yes, I see peace instead of pain. I can see peace instead of pain.
Now we're talking about the development of trust in something greater than yourself. We talked about this like last week. It's like step one of AA or something like that. But how did your week go this week?
It was a good week. I feel a real deepening going on here. There's as I said in some program the other day, I've been watching Star Wars again. Okay. In the background while I'm doing whatever, on the computer, and it reminds me, that came out when I was in high school. Now y'all know how old I am, but when I saw that movie the first time, or those series of movies, the three that came out about that time, anyway, there was a like, oh my God, yes, there is a force, and this is, and I grew up with religion and all that, but there was just something mystical and magical about the Star Wars series and the whole idea of the Force, and so watching it again made me remember this. This desire for the. I was going to say superhuman. I'm not sure that's what I mean. Beyond the human. The desire for the mystical. There's just a real yearning in this person to expand into, as Van Morrison would say, into the mystic, right? Oh, yeah. So I've been feeling that more and more and more, and as I move into that, what I'm feeling is, I'm preparing for a retreat I'm going to start tomorrow, but what I'm feeling is, well, this is easy. all these steps and all that. And so I think I really have been working on this idea, not the idea, but the actuality of the development of trust, right? I mean, it's this base, this foundation, as she says in here, everything else is built on the foundation of trust.
Starts.
And trust is just, it's like, right now, for me, it's just like this mysticism. It's this great unknown, but it is great. So, okay, thanks for asking. How about your week?
Yeah, this last week was a recording of us, right? Because we went to Vermont, which happens, and which was lovely. We got what we needed to accomplish, and then some. It was particularly beautiful, like it always is. But last week, I was talking to a good friend of mine who called, and we were talking about this, and she says, "So how you doing?" She doesn't live nearby, and she follows some of what I do, but not a lot of what I do. But last week, Yolanda and I did 5 programs.
Wow.
Full on 5 different programs in our schedule, because we had to put 2 weeks kind of basically, because it was a Easter Sunday, we were leaving early, so we were leaving even earlier than we normally would, so we had a lot to do. So what happens when you practice something more than you normally practice it? Often you'll have some kind of like breakthrough, some kind of deeper understanding. So I was really happy. It was like, oh, well, this stuff is, actually causing me to like see things or awaken in like a new connections and perspectives a little bit. And that's kind of like what happened to me. My worlds are not just colliding, they're beginning. I've got a lot of different interests, like permaculture and political theory and all these things. And I think they're related, but I don't really come into this space and talk about, a Gramsci or, a lot of, the theory and stuff like that around political theory. And I don't come in here talking about, the Alan Savory method or, the Salentin pins or, the way we understand regenerative, the fungus and things like that. I don't really, do a lot of that here but all those things are different vocabularies about talking about the very same thing, because there's only like you're always telling there's only really one thing going on here. So I was watching an unrelated, I'm doing this, creating a permaculture paradise forest in Vermont, and I'm watching these things, and we're going up there, and the guy is talking, that I was doing this permaculture thing, is talking to me about, we need to create disruption. Because the land nobody has been active on this land. We need to create disruption on this land in order for it to generate the healthy ecosystem that you want to develop in it. And I'm like, oh, disruption. It's like, how often our whole life is centered around making sure that we minimize disruption, prevent disruption.
Yeah, that's right.
When the only way we grow or change, or we talked about this in not long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and we're still talking about it, which is how impactful it was about choosing complexity over order. Mm-hmm. You remember that TED Talk? Choosing complexity over order. So it's like, oh, the disruption creates the possibility for greater complexity.
Yes.
Greater health, greater input, all and on and on and on. And he said resiliency, a ground with all kinds of people on it, all kinds of inner organisms, all kinds of trees, everybody participating and doing the thing that they want to do. If you provided a niche for it supports everybody. And the deer isn't working for the beetles, and the beetles aren't working for the fungi, and the fungi aren't working for the pines, and the pines aren't working for everybody's doing their own thing. And because they're doing their own thing and not concerned about this idea of managing the world so that they can create a perfect atmosphere for themselves, they aren't destroying everybody else's environment so they can it can be just pines in here. This is just a pine forest, that doesn't happen, So that idea of a disruption, that my upsets and my triggers and my grief are necessary disruptions for my healing. I need the ground disturbed. I need to be knocked off balance. I do. I'm a human being. I'm part of this growth paradigm. The butterfly needs to struggle to push the blood into its wings. If you help it, you'll kill it. If you make it easy, you'll kill it. The children need to push on their way out the birth canal. It's helpful in their neurological development. They have to take that big thing in and really let it out. It's a traumatic experience. It's not supposed to be pretty and light and lovely or whatever like that. It's already these things, and there's nothing wrong. We say, oh, I don't like it, I'm trying to control these conditions. But it's not like that. The fox isn't mad at the rabbit. It's not getting even. It's just, it's just not, and the rabbit is running because it wants to, go get back to its feed. It has a responsibility to feed its babies or whatever, It's okay. It's just that profound understanding that I'm talking using different vocabularies to talk about the same system that's generating me and generating the world that is, and which is the force, which is be one with the force. Be the missile that move you. You work with the energies that are moving to you. It's nothing's the problem. Our ability to work with it or understand it or react properly is a skill that we do in a group, that we do as a collective. It isn't the force is a guy up there who gets to use, you have to pay your dues or be on a subscription or be on the mailing list in order to get the information from the force about how to, sorry, your password has been changed. The force is not, isn't available to you because your password is no longer valued because you haven't paid your subscription, don't give your login to anybody else. That's stealing, Anyway. So that's all these things are like coming, like it's becoming one in a way that it hasn't before. Understanding and talking in different systems. It's becoming sort of one. And it's because of the work we do here. So.
Yeah. And I really appreciate your point about, if you immerse yourself in this stuff, shift happens, right? And how ironic is that? I mean, it's like, okay, what are you doing with the rest of your life?
Yeah, it's like, ooh.
Oh, this is what, yeah. Anyway, it's good. It's good. And I have had the same experience in that regard lately as well.
Yes,
in fact, it's gotten to be exciting again, and I love that.
Yeah, do the work, you'll get the results, and if nobody's pressuring you, nobody's it's but whose turn is it to read? I don't know.
Whatever you want. I don't know either.
Let's do this. Let's go over what the stages of trust are. Let's talk about the stages of trust and where we are.
Go right ahead.
All right. Because here, this is trust. We're on chapter 4. What are the characteristics of God's teachers? And she says the first one is trust, and it is the foundation on which all other abilities fulfill their function rests. So trust is the first one. And she goes, not so fast, children. There's 6 stages on this development of trust. Sit down for a minute. and these are called, and she uses the grand term, periods. These are periods like epics or eras. So the first is a period of undoing. Mm-hmm. And we know that's like hitting bottom. And then there's the stage 2. We talked about this. There's a period of sorting out, where we understand. She gave us a definition of value, right? Value. We sorting out what is value and what is valueless. So we say what is her definition of value is things that help our support our perception of what is real, hoping supports our ability to experience and extend reality and experience of reality. So the third stage is a period of relinquishment. Okay, so you got these values, you're sorting them out, and you're beginning to trust the thing that's helping you sort them out. Trust the idea, trust the principles that we're using to sort out, and you find out that you got to let go of stuff, and stuff doesn't really work anymore. What you thought your identity really wasn't there. So now you're not trusting so much of what you thought about yourself, and you have to develop this new trust. And just if you'll let go, there's a gift, and the gift is like us, is our authentic nature coming to the fore. So we have this side, we have this inner trust that we haven't been working at. And our final stage that we talked about, we got 2 more to go, is stage 4. And this is a period of settling down, right? You get the basics down about what is this really valuable? Is this helping me? Is this aligned with my values? Is this an authentic expression? Often does this feel good? Is this moving? Is this helpful? Is this peaceful? Am I understanding? It's just a consolidation of learning. So we've learned what we needed, learned what the value is, and then we begin to make choices to pursue value rather than just evaluating what is coming to us. We begin to pursue and make our intent about setting up this lifestyle that is that we value what we're doing, value what we're saying, value our participation in the world and all. So it's, and she says, at this stage we give up what we do not want and we keep what we do.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add that we talk about this often in Awakening Together as discernment, and I would describe this period as, well, spiritual maturity, right?
Yeah.
You know what's going to the real from the illusion. What's going to further your progress on the spiritual path and what's not. And this stage, this settling down, is where you go, okay, I'm going to apply it because I know that there's a gift at the end, and the gift is greater realization, my true self,
and feeling better and less drama. I mean, let's get very, very practical here. Spirituality is really good on your immune system. It's really good on your calm, cool, collected, your ability to like breathe under pressure and all this other stuff. I don't know about you. When I was a little kid, and I had to learn this through athletics, it was very helpful. When I was afraid, I stopped breathing. I would like hold my breath and things like that. I'm just really super common, but I would wouldn't realize I was holding my breath, so I would start, it was such a ingrained habit of trying to shut off, just trying to stop it. So this calm, cool, and collected, like a lifestyle, this lifestyle of some kind of spiritual practice has been really good for my health, in a very practical way. Tell you what, why don't, so now the next person, why don't you read, no, I'll read it. I'll read this next book and see if you can find it. The next stage is called the period of unsettling. Okay, I said, oh man, we just settled down. Settled down. And then he goes, oh, guess what, dear listener? It's time to be unsettled. Calm disruption.
Exactly.
Disruption. It hit me like a brick. So stage 5 is called this period of unsettling. Now must the teacher of God understand that he did not really know what was valuable and what was valueless. All that he really learned so far was that he did not want the valueless, and then he did want the valuable. Yet his own sorting out was meaningless in teaching him the difference. His own sorting out. The idea of sacrifice. So central to his own thought system that made it impossible for him to judge. He thought he learned willingness, but now he sees that he does not know what the willingness is for. And now he must attain a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long, long time, this period of unsettling. He must learn to lay all judgment aside and ask only what he really wants in every circumstance. Were not each step in this direction so heavily enforced, it would be hard indeed. She's so kind.
I guess you want me to talk about this? I mean, I guess it's my turn.
Go ahead, please. That's how it works.
Yeah.
5, the period of unsettling.
Yeah. Well, first of all, and I pointed this out last time we met, about how this seems to be written, if not directly to the ego, certainly with the ego in mind. And that's what we see here in this paragraph about the idea of sacrifice being central to the thought system, right? I mean, and again, it's kicking and screaming. It's like, it's like taking the scissors from the baby, right? We don't know that we're hurting ourselves. And so this is done for us, despite us. It's certainly despite me. That's the way my path has been. But that's the confusion of the valuable and the valueless is what is the filter, is what has made it so hard to judge. And I just love that the only question now, it's not what's it for. How did it put it?
What?
Tell me.
Okay. Because she says, "What do I really want?"
Amen. Amen. Yeah. And so what I see this second portion here, and now he must attain a state that may remain impossible to reach for a long time. Thanks a lot. He must learn to lay all judgment aside and ask only what he really wants in every circumstance. This is surrender. This is the practice of surrender. So we really do go through a period of, okay, that's not helpful. That's not helpful. But then there comes a point where it's like, all bets are off. It's time to surrender. Even when I'm like, yeah, but all I wanted to do was write this email. What do you mean I can't write this email?
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's beyond my ken, right? I mean, I don't realize that that by writing the email or doing whatever it is I think that I want to do, that I'm reinforcing the subconscious programs that are running, that I'm reinforcing the idea in a separate self. I can't discern that by myself because it's so me. It's, it's so who I've been for 50, however many years, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, we are brought to the practice of surrender. And that's done by asking in every moment, what do I really want? Okay. And so what should I do? Right. I mean, it's totally an art and practice of true surrender.
Mm-hmm. It's the, for me, it really, to talk directly back to what you said, it's really taking away the habit of asking the ego.
Yes. Amen.
It was just like, just recognize that you are asking. She says this in other places, but it's like, you're going to ask. Because you're going to say, should I cross the street? Should I go home early? Should I take my lunch at 12:15? I mean, right. You're going to have these, you're going to generate these questions. Who are you going to let the habit of who do we listen to answer them? Yeah. And that surrender to the one who's, the one who didn't bring you here, who didn't create she calls it in another situation. She goes, listen to your ego and it'll always, and you'll always find yourself in an impossible situation.
That's right.
It's not impossible for you, but it is impossible for the ego because the ego doesn't know anything about can't know anything, can't feel anything. It just, so it's like that. And I don't know about you, but I have deeply ingrained habits of thought and deeply ingrained habits of being,
Sure.
That some of them are helpful. Some of them have been helpful my whole life. And some of them have been less helpful. And some of them are helpful just for a little bit. And then their usefulness kind of goes, kind of goes away. So this isn't, I would love for there to be one stage of, we were talking about this earlier. I'd love to go through the stage of surrender just once. But I think we cycle through these levels. We go up a little bit, maybe go down, we go up in these stages. But the part I wrote about stages 5 is this idea of a deepening to our learning. And I think that this whole thing is coming down to being a deeper presence of love, being a deep teacher. I said the other day that I really would love people to say that about me, to say that guy has deep learning. I want deep teaching. I want deep learning. And it requires of letting go of judgment. So think about the paradigm that she's doing. We're letting go of judgment. What do you have to do before you let go of something? You have to pick it up or create it yourself. It's the only way you can let go of something. You can let go of something that you created, or you can let go of something that you picked up. So it's like, stop creating conflict. Stop picking up fear. Stop picking up somebody else's grief. Stop picking up somebody else's loneliness and somebody else's stuff and trying to or their inhumanity to others. You know, it's been a thing for me, and the I do say that a lot. You know, what do I want in this? I say that a lot. For whatever reason, that was something I picked up very very early in early. What is, you know, what do I want? What's this for? You know.
Well, yeah, and I can say that I've done that too, and it's been really helpful. Like you said, in every stage. I mean, even in the stage where I'm clinging to it, going, no, but they are, you know, they are being an asshole, or you know, no. But what do I want? You know, okay, I think I'm right. I think this ought to go this way, and it's going this way. But what do I want? Do I want to be right? Do I want to, you know, or whatever the situation is? It's been very, very helpful to ask that question.
Yeah, the woman did cut in front of me at the 7-Eleven.
Exactly. Yes.
And was completely clueless about it, and was mad when I pointed it out, and thought I was attacking, you know, and thought it was you know, absolutely. The lines back there, like 6 feet apart, you know, I realized that you didn't think the line, but it goes around the thing, and you don't, you know.
You know, there's a someplace in NTI, I believe it's NTI, not the course, but it says, you know, about bringing your grievances to me.
Yeah.
But don't bring them to me expecting me to tell you you're right.
Yeah. I know. We're supposed to be.
She was. Did you see her?
What am I? Chopped liver? That's, you know, so. Tell you what, I'll read the next piece. It's just because that's
okay.
where we're going. What?
No, you read last. Didn't you just read?
Yeah, I did. Go read then.
Okay. Okay, I will. And finally, there is a period of achievement. It is here that learning is consolidated. Now what was seen as merely shadows before becomes solid gains to be counted on in all emergencies, as well as tranquil times. Indeed, the tranquility is their result, the outcome of honest learning, consistency of thought, and full transfer. This is the stage of real peace, for here is heaven's state fully reflected. From here, from here, the way to heaven is open and easy. In fact, it is here. Who would go anywhere if peace of mind is already complete? And who would seek to change tranquility for something more desirable? What could be more desirable than this?
That's a good question. And we want to come up with all kinds of substitutes for it, you know. What's more desirable than this? Well, stage 6 is the period of achievement. And you can move through all these stages as quickly or slowly as we want. Developing trust in the inner guide, in the inner guru, also in our ability to know. That is just, it's like, I was created in the image of God. I don't have to wonder how or why that happens. I can trust that. And learning to be able to touch, you know, be able to touch that within myself, touch that knowing, be able to express and come from that knowing, is a human characteristic that isn't a supernatural, unusual, precious, you know, spend all your time. We can do this a lot easier than we think. This promise, I love that she talks about the ego, these state, you know, she's talking really directly to somebody or like me or mostly in their ego mind, is operating from their ego mind. She promises at the end of these stages that there is achievement. So this is still aspirational. She's talking about gifts and achievements, you know. So this is still very, and that is where we come into the course. We come into the course a lot of times, or we come into a spiritual practice in which, you know, like the first step, we hit bottom, and so we get this stage of achievement. We go, oh, I actually, like the Dorothy thing, I actually could go home all the time. I know how to be me. And being me, the thing I was running from all the time, is the thing that's going to save me. My part in salvation, which is like the lesson today, I choose my part in salvation, is to be this cooperative component in this ecology of God, to do my bit, because it connects to the web that makes it all possible. I'm doing my part, and it's beautiful. If this learning is consolidated, there are solid gains, and the teaching becomes reliable. So again, I say it's a lifestyle. And she talks about tranquility and the honest of learning. Did you want to? And real peace. I think this is the only time in the course I know that she puts real in front of peace. This is real peace, tranquility, and achievement through the effects of creating the conditions for peace is achievement. The seeing and participating in value creates achievement. If you can discern value, you can have achievement.
That's so funny.
It's like, oh, I don't have achievement because I'm not pursuing what's valuable.
Right. I'm not realizing any gain here.
Yeah, I don't have any real gains here. So who's she can tell she lives as a New Yorker. She can tell she really comes out here. Solid gains. Solid gains, But she says heavens, and so this is it's an aspect of the course that isn't talked about very much. She says that heaven's state is fully reflected in the world.
Yes, that's the real world, right?
Yeah. So even though this is a reflection, it's like I'm standing in front of it. When you're standing in front of a mirror. I hope when you walk by a mirror, that you didn't you're not looking into a separate dimension, right? We all kind of know that there's mercury on the back of it. It reflects the thing there, and we aren't actually looking at her. Okay. So heaven's state is fully reflected. And if we can see, have you ever walked by a mirror and thought, oh my God, I didn't know I looked like the way, and been happy?
And been happy? No. I've done the oh my God thing.
It's like, oh my God. Yeah. You ever cruised with yourself across the bar, looking at the bar mirror?
Okay, I've done that.
See what I mean? It's like there's a mindset of being able to look at the world when it's pleasurably reflected at you, and the heaven that it's not pleasurably reflected at us. And so if we're living in this world of achievement, understanding what value is, we look out and we see value everywhere. We look out and see the reflection of the glory that we are everywhere. It's, and it's like, this is a really cool mirror. I love this mirror. This is so beautiful. This is so me. I'm just so grateful to be here. Look at all this. I'm so grateful that mirrors are here to reflect my glory, because I can't see if without a mirror, I don't know what I look like, I just think that's really lovely. So she says, the way to heaven is open and easy. I'm going to get that tattoo maybe. The way to heaven is open and easy, but it's just like, I love these phrases, open and easy. She says, so now we can go anywhere, and in your the tranquility will travel with you. You don't have to invite it. You don't have to do anything other than then trust in the voice that likes you, and tranquility will be your companion. It's, little dog named Tranquility. little dog on your lap. Name your cat Tranquility, maybe. Just go everywhere with you. Yeah. But that's it. Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, I love this. First of all, I'll talk again about how this is addressed to the ego. Ego is like achievement. Yeah, I did something. But as we know, it's not really a doing, it's an undoing.
Right.
So we are removing those blocks to love's presence, as of course Miracle says. So we're not really achieving anything. We're understanding the truth of what we are. We're understanding that we are indeed peace. again, it's like, I only need to have a conflict with you. I only need this to be different or that to be different if I think that I'm a separate individual in a world of separate individuals. And once I come to the realization that, no, I am peace, then whatever is going on out here in the world is okay. It doesn't need to be different. And that, and that takes us right back to the name of our program, right? Mm-hmm. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Here, right here. Yeah. And this is what she's talking about here. She also says, from here, the way to heaven is open and easy. So from the real world to heaven. Well, what does that mean? Again, in the terms that we often talk about it in the 4 principles of God, it would be you move from this state of from awakeness, right? Of the state of perfect allowance and beyond that to the absolute. And it's easy at that point. I mean, there's nothing, there's no tethers on you. There's nothing holding you back.
Well, it feels like achievement.
Yeah. Look what I did.
I know.
But you can, and it's just, and I appreciate her saying real peace, and you can feel the peace in this paragraph. I can feel the peace in this paragraph.
Yeah.
And who would go anywhere? I mean, again, at the end of the paragraph, there is no achievement, who would seek to change tranquility? There's nothing to change. I'm okay with this because I understand the opening phrase, the opening paragraph of A Course in Miracles, right? I'm not threatened. There's nothing that needs to change. This is total peace, and I'm loving it.
No matter what my initial judgment is, no matter what my initial reaction or my initial thought or my initial groove in my mind is thinking, my initial, there are a few things that I have to verbally talk myself out of, doing, when I see it happen. There's still a couple of things that I just have to say,
sure,
sweetie, it's just don't do it. Just don't do it, and that brings me to what I want. There's so much reward in tranquility. I mean, there's so much you can't convince anybody what you really want is tranquility. It's like nobody puts
no,
that on
I don't. Resume. I want a new car. I want a better job.
Where are you going to be? No. Oh, Mr. Job Interview. Where you would like to be in 5 years? Oh, more tranquil.
Yeah, that's going to get you somewhere, right?
That's not going to happen. But I love the more you trust in what works, the more it works.
That's right.
The more I am able to make this a lifestyle and not just on Sundays between 9 and 11, which is how I grew up.
Yeah.
So it's a lifestyle. It's the way of, from my understanding, real peace is embracing my humanity as the child of God, and embracing what is living in me, embracing the life that is expressing through me. That's like the achievement of getting, the Buddhists, I've said this before here, the Buddhists say it's every birth is on an auspicious occasion because we're so very unlikely,
Well, some of us are.
She reminds it that trust is first. Trust is like everything sitting on trust. And the next thing she wants to talk about is, how honest are you? What's your relationship with honesty?
Yeah.
As Americans in Western, the Western mind, start talking about how honest somebody is.
The birthplace of the little, what do they call Little White Lie?
Oh yeah, yeah. Woo. Yeah. So this.
Let's see who reads. Where are we? Where are we?
So all the other traits of the teachers rest on trust.
Yes.
Once that has been achieved, the others cannot fail to follow. Only the trusting can afford honesty, for only they see its value. Honesty does not apply only to what you say. The term actually means consistency. There is nothing you can say that contradicts what you think or do. No thought opposes any other thought. No act belies your word, and no word lacks agreement with another. Such are the truly honest. At no level are they in conflict with themselves. Therefore, it is impossible for them to be in conflict with anyone else or anything. The peace of God, which the advanced teachers of God experience, is largely due to their perfect honesty. It's only the wish to deceive that makes for war. No one at one with himself can even conceive of conflict. Conflict is the inevitable result of self-deception, and self-deception is dishonesty. There's no challenge to the teacher of God. Challenge implies doubt. And the trust on which God's teachers rest secure makes doubt impossible. Therefore, they can only succeed in this as in all things. They're honest. They can only succeed because they will never do their will alone. They choose for all mankind, for all the world, and all the things in it. All the unchanging and the unchangeable beyond appearances, and for the Son of God and his Creator. How could they not succeed? They choose in perfect harmony, sure of their choice as of themselves.
Sweet, thank you. Well read.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Honesty.
Honesty. Yeah, she starts by saying that, all the other traits rest fully on trust.
Yeah.
And we just spent an hour and a half talking about trust the last week and this week. But really, it begs the question. So what are we trusting? And again, I would point back to the beginning of A Course in Miracles. But so we're trusting that nothing real can be threatened, that all is well all the time. And you can see from there why all other traits would rest on that. Knowing that all is well all the time, there's nothing to have any divergent interests about. If you allow, as we said a moment ago, if you allow all things to be as they are, you're not going to try to manipulate people, time, circumstance, which is what humans do to ensure their safety, their happiness, and to ensure that they're loved. So in that realization, knowing that all is well all the time, the teachers of God, all of us, strive to make everything perfectly consistent with that knowledge of reality. And really, she says the term actually means consistency, and frankly, consistency is the key. My consistency in forgiving, in not believing what the eyes would show me, or what I think when that guy screamed, whatever. Consistently remembering the oneness is the key to experiencing that. So I must consistently apply my knowledge of oneness and deny the denial of truth in order to experience peace and in order to give it. Again, this could be seen as reprogramming the subconscious. Because that's not what we've been, that's not the programs we picked up in the first 7 years of life, right? No. So we're deleting those programs that go, you got to get yours before the other guy gets his, and all of how life works, right? And in order to do that job effectively, in order to reprogram the subconscious, in order to delete those negative subconscious programs, we have to act consistently. You can't do it, like you said, once on Sunday, once a week, right? It's just not going to work that way. So you're going to be consistent, and you're not going to, and as it says elsewhere in A Course in Miracles, you're not going to succumb to the temptation to make an exception. It really is all or nothing. And again, as they say, the devil lies in the details. It's got to be consistent application. You're teaching yourself as well as your brother, and through this consistent application, you'll have a consistent experience of peace that you teach both yourself and your brothers. Let's see what else here. They can only succeed in this. They can only succeed because they never do their will alone. Obviously, the outcome is certain. I mean, there's nothing that needs to be done to achieve this except consistently apply it, consistently remove the veils that blocks your vision, right? It comes right back to that consistency. She says here at the end, she says, how could they not succeed? They choose in perfect honesty, perfect consistency, as sure of their choice as they are of themselves. So really, in the end, what is there to choose but reality? The choice between reality and illusion, that is the only meaningful choice, right? So when we recognize that we don't need anything to be other than it is, that attempting to manipulate the illusion is like moving the deck chairs on the Titanic. When you get that realization, when you trust that all is well and I don't need to manipulate anything, you would consider what other choices there to make. You consistently make the choice for reality rather than that illusion. And so in this perfect honesty, in this perfect consistency, we discern between truth and illusion in thought and in action. And we make our choices based upon its source or its helpfulness to awakening, its source, Holy Spirit, ego mind, right mind, wrong mind, truth or illusion. But it's really, really clear once we get that fundamental idea that that's the only choice to be made and that nothing needs to be different. That's it.
If you're like me, you have to choose at least 5 other choices before you're willing to risk everything on the last choice. And it's usually the last menu item, it's like, I've tried everything else here, so, it's like this, but I like her for that, for that reason. I really loved this actually a lot. She speaks directly to, anything that you do consistently is going to become a characteristic for you. You know? True. Listen, if I'm bald, one of my characteristics is that I'm going, is that I can steadily go bald, and there's nothing that's going to do much about that other than, borrow one of Yolanda's hair hats. So realizing that what I do the most brings the most results.
That's right.
And if I want good results, I have to put in the thing, I have to create the conditions that are going to do it. And she's beginning to say, okay, you need to trust this thing in your, this reality, God, your spirituality, whatever. You have to find this part of yourself that you can trust. And when you do that, the next step really is to be honest with the world about who you are, about what you see and what's going on. Make a mistake, get it wrong, let's learn, let's grow, let's do the thing, let's fall, let's grieve, let's get angry, let's make the mistake together. And honest, and that honesty, and saying, I don't know, or I can't help, or I'm confused, or maybe it's I do know, and I'm not, and I'm going to ask you to listen to me and just do what I say, like in good healthy hierarchies, like engineering or like a job or something. I can't explain how this is all your part works and all this. I just need you to do this part, so we can trust that because we trust what's going on, and that person can honestly say, I love you and I have the relationship with you, and it's not us being in conflict, but I'm not going to stand here and tell you why in the whole system of the meta that you need to do this. And so we trust that person, and we're honest. We can be honest with them. This is what I need from you. These are good boundaries. These are healthy boundaries. This is what I need. This is what I think. This is what I feel, or what's going on. I make this mistakes. I live at my full high skill level. What I say is coming out of my mouth. My body language is saying. My words say it. You can look on my Twitter feed, my Facebook feed, what I say on the street, what I say in here, and it is constantly, it is the same thing. And when I make a mistake, I make it on all the platforms, and I say it. I say, so I am consistent. Because I'm consistently me. I am going to be consistently honest to the level that I know how to be, because I know that's the only thing that works. Honesty brings me a connection to you. Honesty lets you see my humanity. Honesty lets me allow you to trust what I'm saying, because it suits me no good to lie. It literally does damage to me and my psyche and my immune system and my well-being to deceive. Even if I'm deceiving out of some kind of high-minded idea, like you were saying, a white lie, Yeah. So I love this because only the trusting can afford honesty, for only they can see its value. There's nothing you can say that contradicts or thinks, there's nothing you can say that contradicts what you think or do. This is means matching ends. This is fundamental characteristic of anarchism and communist thought. You don't go to war to bring peace. That's a crazy understanding. So the internal conflict goes away because there aren't any conflicts. I don't have to project onto you this crazy idea and fix you because I reject what's in myself. So it promises again this peace of mind. Peace of mind comes from what she says? Perfect honesty. Perfect honesty. I value that in my friends. I value that in the world. If you're honest with me, even with what I don't want you to hear, I'll probably trust you. It's a quality of an advanced teacher. War is the wish to deceive. And these are the challenges for a teacher that we begin to doubt, that we have to again go back again to the foundations of trust. What do I want to trust? What is this for? Is this what I want to experience? And she says our success is fueled by our honesty. Our success is fueled by how quickly we can understand this concept of being honest with the world about who we are, how we experience things, and how the God in us is expressing ourselves into the world. And she says you can succeed because you're not alone. And if you will make decisions based on the unified goals, but unified will, if you will make your decision based on a unified principle, you will succeed. And that's just communism. Everybody does what they do best, and everybody receives what they need. It's
just communism, folks.
That's literally Lenin, and that's a Lenin. So it's really really wonderfully consistent with my mindset. All these worlds come together. You means matching ends is really important, and each does according to what they can and only takes what they need. That's a human being. That's a child of God. That's the expression of the oneness to me.
Sweet.
But
looks like we've run right up to time to go.
You want to make a conclusion here? You want to say any final thoughts? We got to.
I don't think so. I'd love to hear yours.
Oh well, I just threw out. So.
I'm more.
I enjoy this. The progression that she talks to. She's holding out her hands to try to give us these ideas, but it's take the concepts and build your world.
Yes.
She's never says how you need to live or how you need to look or anything like that. What the Course says is, if you want to find out how powerful you are, you'll try on these ideas and try to live these ideas.
That's right.
But if you want to be powerful, if you want to be strong, if you want to be deep, if you want to not worry, if you want to experience real peace or any kind of tranquility, if you want tranquility to follow you wherever you go.
That's right. Like a little dog.
Like a little dog, like Toto, or a bad penny, You'll do these things.
Yeah.
They're promises, but this is satisfying. This is the meat we crave. And the world says it's not. The world says it's cheeseburgers and Xboxes and, thank you for being here with us today on Herein Lies the Peace of God. I'm Reverend Glen Morton Ganaway, and you're important to the world and the wholeness and oneness of God.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Glenn. Thanks everybody for being here. We love you. We love being here with you, and we'll do this again next week. Thank you.
You've been listening to Herein Lies the Peace of God with Reverend Jacquelyn Eckert and Reverend Glen Ganaway. To find out more about Jacquelyn and to donate to Awakening Together Sanctuary, go to www.awakening-together.org. To find out more about Glen and to donate to the Mighty Companions Ministries, go to www.glenganaway.com. That's GLENGANAWAY.com.